Gabo.
And I am Martin Asiedudate. Let's look at the headlines for this evening.
News360 Headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal,
EcoBank.
Ghana Institute of Safety and Environmental Professionals is calling for an independent investigation into the building collapse at Accra New Town that killed 3 people and injured about 20 others.
And also coming up tonight, Ghana set to begin refining its own crude oil as part of a renewed strategy to enhance national energy security and reduce reliance on imported refined petroleum products.
And later in the bulletin, heated Public Accounts Committee exchanges as former Agric Procurement Director alleges that party members hijacked warehouses. Meanwhile, 19 million cedi refunded by one of the companies cited for infractions.
Coming up in business news, government remains firmly on track to achieve its import cover target as international reserves steadily rise.
On the international front, yet another threat by U.S. President Donald Trump, who is saying he would obliterate Iran's energy facilities if the deal is not reached shortly. We have details of all these stories and more, and like we indicated, today's News 360 is at 5 p.m. because 6:45, Ghana will be playing Germany in a friendly, and that will be live here on TV3.
Let's now settle for the details. And pupils of Accra New Town Experimental 1A and B primary school say the lack of adequate school desks has made it impossible for them to move into a newly renovated classroom block. The situation forced them to continue using an abandoned 3-story building which collapsed on Sunday, March 29. Speaking to TV3, some of the pupils revealed that the last time they studied in the now collapsed building was just on Saturday, March 28, as they prepared for their final BEC exams. They spoke with Joseph Armstrong Gold Alobe.
That's our class.
That's your class?
Yeah, because you have moved from that place.
But I thought they said you are no longer using that building.
We are using it.
You are still using it?
Yeah, because they have not even opened it. So you say we should wait for
They've not opened which one?
The new one.
They've not opened a new building?
Yeah, so they say we should learn over there. So we are learning over there and don't know what has happened. We are informed too.
Yeah. So anytime you go and sit down there, you are not able to learn well?
Yeah.
Why?
Because there is a lot of heat over there. That place and dust and heat. So yeah, and the light is there is only
and
one.
And the building too has been shaking?
Yeah, it's very weak.
I'm very scared when the building is shaking.
Like you get very scared sometimes?
Yes.
How does it shake? Can you demonstrate?
Like when you touch it and it will be shaking.
You touch with your small tiny hands and the building gets to shake?
Yes.
When it was that bad?
Yes.
It makes you very scared then?
Yes.
You have the same thing to say?
Yes. Mostly we are the Form 3s and then we are the ones sitting at the last place. So sometimes when it rains, you can even see that the water is coming out from like the wall. Sometimes I can touch my friend and be like, hey, since I see you, look at the wall. I'm sure one day this thing will collapse. Sometimes we'll be sitting there, we'll be praying.
You've been saying it?
Yes.
I think you are a prophetess already.
Sometimes the teacher will be teaching, but we'll be praying like, Charlie, let's pray because the way this thing is going, sometimes to the heat there, and even when people are praying, they are playing at the top and they are around, you can feel that something is shaking. So sometimes I'll tell the teacher I'm going to the washroom, then I'll go and stand outside, then I'll be like, hey God, please help us. So
instead of you to be focusing on learning, you are focusing your mind on.
You have to start praying, say your last prayers.
Yeah, they were also praying. The building still collapsed anyway.
Yes, but we thank God because we came to classes on Saturday. And then we left. So Sunday, and I heard that they said the building have collapsed.
You came on class on
Saturday.
Saturday, you were in that building?
Yes.
The other buildings that you've been learning in, how is it like?
That one today, I think they said they are arranging that place. So it's left with small, then they will finish the building.
Do you think they should come and open a new building for you guys?
Yes.
Pardon?
We don't have
have
No,
decks.
wait, you said you think they should come and open the new place for you?
Yes, please, because we don't have decks. Now the building has collapsed. We don't even have desks where we can sit. So I think the government should bring us desks where we can sit because this there is no good. Because we don't have desks.
Yes.
There are no desks in all the classrooms.
Yes. All of the desks are in the
We're
room.
in that story building.
Yes.
All the desks were parked in that story building.
Yes, please. So we don't have.
Well, so these are some pupils and students here at Accra New Town that narrating to us how and what they've been saying, what they've been seeing over the past few years. Some of them said they were here on Saturday to study ahead of the upcoming BEC, and fortunately for them, they escaped a day after the building collapsed. They are calling on government to intervene by providing them with desks and also open a new building for them to study in. Joseph Armstrong, Good Alugbe, TV3, Accra New Town.
In a related development, the Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, has visited the site of the building collapse that killed 3 people and wounded about 20 other people. Now, the visit to the Accra New Town was to get first-hand information as she called for strict enforcement of laws. Our correspondent Evelyn Tingma reports.
The collapsed building at New Town on Sunday killed 3 people and left several others injured. On Monday, the Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, was at the accident scene to get first-hand information. She was accompanied by the Interior Minister, Muntaka Mohamed Mubarak. The Vice President at the scene queried who authorized the putting up of the building and stressed the need for the wrong to be condemned. She further emphasized the need for strict adherence to building regulations, warning that negligence in construction must not be tolerated.
Who approved all of it? It was 2012. It doesn't matter when it was done. If it is wrong, it is wrong.
Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman also visited survivors receiving treatment at the 37 Military Hospital, the Police Hospital and the University of Ghana Medical Center. She interacted with the injured and medical staff and wished the victims a speedy recovery and commended health workers for their dedication and swift response in attending to the casualties. Meanwhile, authorities say they have launched investigations into the incident to establish the exact cause of the collapse. Evelyn Tingma, TV3 News, Accra.
In a related development, the Ghana Institute of Safety and Environmental Professionals, GISEP, has expressed deep sorrow following the collapse of the uncompleted building at Accra New Town, which claimed 3 lives and left 20 others in hospital, including 7 minors. GISEP, in a statement, made some recommendations which I will be taking you through now. And these recommendations include: they are calling for an investigation to determine the cause of the disaster. They also want an urgent structural assessment of uncompleted buildings being used for public gatherings, as well as the passage and implementation of the Occupational Safety and Health Bill. Let's now speak to engineer Dr. Mrs. Miriam Eduful. She is the national president of the Ghana Institute of Safety and Environmental Professionals, GISEP. Doc, thank you so much for your time. First of all, what were the key safety lapses that led to the Accra New Town building collapse, and could this have been prevented?
Good afternoon to you and your listeners, and thank you for having me on the call. In fact, there has been several safety lapses, and this is not different. When you even interview the kids who schooled there, you could see the various safety lapses, the emotional torture, even the environmental hazards that people go through day in and day out. So if, let's say, there are regulators who are making sure that buildings of this nature are not occupied, it means that we're going to keep all those people who are injured now very safe, and those we have lost. So safety lapses is something that I think all sectors in Ghana should look at, because every professional work you are doing without the safety aspect of it, it's not sustainable. This is what I want to tell you or say about that.
Does this suggest to you that the building inspectors were also not doing their work well?
In fact, you cannot say they are not doing their work well. It depends. A building that has been abandoned all this far, for all you know, they are not even aware that it's being occupied. And who even told students? I don't know whether they are public school or they are private school, but for students to even shake and keep praying that this building shouldn't collapse, that means it was in a very worst state that the people in the community also know. And let's say when they go home, they're able to inform their parents, and still day in and day out, they go there to school. In fact, we need to wake up as a country.
What immediate action would you recommend to ensure that other uncompleted buildings used for public gatherings, especially schools and churches, are safe?
In fact, I will encourage the Ministry of Interior to team up with the Ministry of Works and Housing to put together committees that will go around to check this, okay, to ensure the safety and of the people, because this is not the first time and this cannot be the last. There are a lot happening in our community. So if a special body can also, apart from the investigation, can go around and check this, it will really add up to the work of the regulators.
One of your recommendations was to enforce the passage of the Occupational Safety and Health Bill. What's the current status? Where are we at with regards to the bill?
Currently, the Ministry of Labour and Employment Relations is working on it. They have gone for a consultant that has they have put together the profile, the entire profile or the state of safety and health in the country, and it's left with the bill going to Parliament. So we are urging government and all those who are working on it to expedite action, because if we have one policy and an OSH law that is going to back our safety practices in the nation, I think that the act itself can really help curb some of these unsafe situations.
Thank you so much for your time. Engineer Dr. Miriam Eduful is the National President of the Ghana Institute of Safety and Environmental Professionals, GISEP.
We are staying on this subject of the building collapse at Accra New Town. The devastation has caused a number of people to feel quite uncomfortable, especially living in and around that area. And this has turned a place of worship into a scene of tragedy, raising urgent questions about safety and responsibility. As the nation grapples with the shock, attention is shifting beyond grief to a deeper one, whether the system meant to prevent such disasters were ignored or failed. Judith Brown has more on this explainer.
Of a school building in New Town, which is also being used as a church, has left a community reeling because what was meant to be a place of refuge and faith became in an instant a scene of chaos and loss. But for many, the shock is not just about the lives affected. The troubling question remains, how could this happen? Attention has quickly shifted from grief to accountability because structural failures of this nature are rarely accidents in the purest form. They are often the result of a chain of oversights, shortcuts, or outright negligence. For President of the Ghana Institution of Engineering, Ludwig Anan Hesse, someone somewhere failed in their duty and must be held accountable.
If we inspect and there's a report that the building is not fit for occupation, and the authorities don't ensure that the non-occupation of the building is enforced, then somebody must be held responsible. Was there an assembly? Who did the investigation? Who said that it wasn't fit for habitation? And what did they do to ensure that the place was not habited? These are questions that need to be answered. And the people who negligence caused lives then will have to be held to account.
So what process must be followed according to the Ghana Building Code of 2018, GS 1207? The process begins with the land itself. A developer must engage a licensed surveyor to produce a certified site plan, one that clearly defines the boundaries and provides precise coordinates to ensure it fits within legally approved land parameters. From there, the site plan is taken to the relevant local planning authority, such as the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. At this stage, zoning regulations are confirmed, what the land can be used for, how far structures must be set back from roads, and whether access routes meet safety standards. Design comes next, and this is where professional expertise becomes non-negotiable. A licensed architect develops the building plans, while a structural engineer ensures the design can physically stand under expected loads and conditions. Their drawings must be complete, signed, and stamped. With these documents in hand, the developer must submit a building permit application to the appropriate metropolitan, municipal, or district assembly. It will then undergo rigorous technical review by multiple bodies like the Fiscal Planning Department, the Works and Housing Department, as well as the Ghana National Fire Service. Only when all these layers are satisfied is a building permit issued, granting legal approval to begin construction. Even then, the process is far from over. Competent contractor must be engaged before the building can be set out on site by the surveyor to match approved plans. Critically, the local assembly must be notified at key stages, which will trigger mandatory inspections, ensuring that what is being built matches what was approved. Only after passing this stage is a certificate of habitability issued. This certificate is a final assurance that the building is safe for use. And without it, occupation is not just illegal, it's dangerous. And so, seen in this light, the New Town collapse is more than a tragic event. It's a potential breakdown of a system designed to protect lives. As investigations unfold, the call for accountability is growing louder. Justice will not only depend on identifying what failed, but on ensuring it does not happen again. Judith Brown, TV3 News.
We have updates of this in our subsequent bulletins. In more news tonight, the Accra High Court has told Namwan's lawyers that his evidence will be taken by electronic means after the embattled businessman didn't turn up in court due to ill health. His lawyers presented a medical note to the court showing the former Mensgo CEO must refrain from excessive physical exertion. Lord Idwasari reports.
Nana Appiah Mensah, also known as Namwan, is facing multiple counts of defrauding by false pretense, operating a gold firm without license, and money laundering. He has pleaded not guilty and is on bail. Namwan was expected to continue with his evidence in chief on Monday, March 30. However, when the case was called, he was absent. Presiding judge said Namkwadam intimated that the accused had presented a medical excuse to explain his absence. Details of the document suggested that the Men's Gold CEO should not be subjected to maximum physical exertion. Yao Tre Edu, holding brief for the lawyers of Namwan, prayed the court to give the accused 3 weeks off to help him get in the right frame of mind to return to court. But Justice Kwadam noted that the medical document did not restrict the accused person from continuing and ruled that the case will be continued virtually with a video link to be provided to Namwan to continue with his evidence in chief. The court further ordered the defense lawyers to file the documents and adjourn the case to Wednesday for continuation. Lord Idwasari, TV3 News, Accra.
Let's take you to Parliament now, and there were heated exchanges at the Public Accounts Committee hearing when a former Director of Procurement for the Agric Ministry disclosed that some party people hijacked warehouses after the 2024 elections, making the supply of rice difficult. An attempt by a member of the committee, Edem Agbana, to seek clarity caused a boiling moment despite interventions by the Deputy Agric Minister and other committee members. Meanwhile, the Deputy Finance Minister says one of the companies cited for the infractions has refunded about 19 million Ghana cedis after the special audit report. Christian Yale is our parliamentary correspondent and has more.
As a usual business at the Public Accounts Committee sitting on Monday, where infractions like payment irregularities as well as lack of supporting document for contract were interrogated. A former director of procurement at the Agric Ministry disclosed that a company paid to supply rice was refused access to some warehouses by a group of individuals. She initially termed them as party people who took over those facilities after the 2024 elections.
Initially, the party people prevented him, and subsequently, the supplier owned his agent, so they didn't give him access to continue the transportation.
When was this? When was this done?
That is after the election.
After the election?
Yeah, we have to get the military to even intervene, but still.
The term party people was explained as the agent as well as other third parties who were involved in the deal. However, that was not satisfactory enough.
She should be able to expatiate. Tell us, which party people, what activities did they engage in?
Honorable Adam, I think that the beginning of this conversation, we were talking about the parties involved. And so in her submission, she just said some party people took over the warehouse, not necessarily political party people taking over the warehouse.
The situation got worse with heated exchanges from all sides of the committee, with many urging Adam Agbana to let things slide.
The woman was very, very clear. What your deputy ranking has said. The answer is contradictory to what the deputy ranking.
Respectfully, young man, Honorable MP, please, your chairman has spoken. I think we should end it. You are not more party-like than your chairman who is here taking over the affairs of what we are doing. Respectfully.
Madam Chair, respectfully, I take strong exception to that statement.
Respectfully.
I asked the question because this is a committee of parliament. Parliament is a house of records.
Take over and do what is expected. Please.
With tempers flying high, the chairman of the committee exerted his authority and directed immediate ceasefire.
Okay, quiet. I'm in charge here. Quiet. Why can't you guys show a little bit of respect to me? What do you mean?
Madam, what you said has brought some controversy.
The rice is there.
Yes.
They prevented you at that time to go and access the rice.
Yes.
Can you have access to it now?
No.
Why not?
The agent is still not giving us access.
The agent, identified as Sika Krobia Limited, together with the supplier, has been summoned to appear before the committee on Thursday. Meanwhile, another company that was overpaid for the supply of grains, identified as Rance Logistics, has refunded some 19 million cedis to the state.
If you look at the audit revelations, it is not just the 19.1 million cedis that was cited. It was also stated that the company was paid with rice in excess of 7 tons. So we are expecting the value of 7,000 tons, metric tons of rice.
The Public Accounts Committee will continue its public hearing this week into the 2024 Special Audit Report of the Auditor General on government outstanding claims and other commodities. Christian Yale, TV3 News.
Its own crude oil as part of a renewed strategy to enhance national energy security and reduce reliance on imported refined petroleum products. Speaking to a group of journalists, the managing director of the Tema Oil Refinery, Edmond Combat, emphasized that the move forms part of a broader effort to revive the country's refining capacity and repositioning Ghana within the global oil value chain.
One of the things we are doing is to try as much as possible to rely on a lot of West African crude. And another challenge that we had was that, like you rightly mentioned, some people had actually written off top that this can never work and all of that. So in the medium-term plan of government, long-term plan of government had not planned to redirect the Ghanaian portion of the crude here. But as we came back, started refining, that conversation has changed. So we have now been put in a schedule. I don't want to mention the dates, but we've now been put in a schedule, and it won't be too long. You will hear that we have picked Ghanaian crude to refine.
So that's actually some very good news for many who may not be aware that Ghana can now refine its own crude. And thankfully, we have a refinery, state-owned refinery, which is the Tema Oil Refinery. It has been laden with debt, but fortunately, over the last few years, efforts have been made to revive it. The current administration, both government and the management of TOR, are putting in efforts to expedite the refining process. So what we've just been told is that they can actually start doing that in the short to medium term. Let's look at how much crude Ghana uses and how much of that can be refined by the Tema Oil Refinery. The graphic on your screen right now talks about the 2025 under review. So in that year, we're told that Ghana exported about $2.6 billion worth of crude. So the caveat here is that Ghana is an oil-producing country. That's a given. We produce oil. However, $2.6 billion worth of that, of what we produce, is sent outside. And as a country, we import about $5.17 billion worth of crude. There is a shortfall. The balance in between is that if all of what we produce as a country, which is about $2.6 billion worth, is maintained in the country, we will still need about some $2.5 billion worth of crude to help, in satisfying the consumption of consumers in the country, I should say. Now, if you move forward, let's put it to perspective. Ghana actually, on a daily basis, consumes between 900,000 and 100,000 barrels per day. And the Tema Oil Refinery can process about 60,000 barrels per day, indirectly saying that if all the oil we produce is given to Tema Oil Refinery to process, then it means that they can satisfy the Ghanaian market up to about 60% of the total that we consume. There's still going to be a shortfall, about 40,000 barrels per day shortfall, and maybe that is what we may need to be importing. And the other important point to note is that the Tema Oil Refinery currently is refining oil all right, but majority or almost all of what they refine is coming from outside. We import it. So he says that the Tema Oil Refinery imports crude to refine despite Ghana being an oil-producing country, or we produce our own oil. And how much money does TOR use to import that oil to help it refine or get its machines running? That's what you have on your screens right now. 213 million United States dollars. So if this is how much we send out just to get crude for Tema Oil Refinery to process, then it means that if we actually start focusing on the production and processing of our own oil, majority of this particular amount will stay in the country to go into other sectors to help, or probably help in expanding the capacity of the Tema Oil Refinery. We'll keep tabs on this to see when the Tema Oil Refinery will process its first local crude and update you on that. Back to you, Portia.
Thank you so much, Martin. In more news tonight, a total of 3,055 students have been officially admitted into Central University at its 29th matriculation ceremony held today. The ceremony marks the beginning of their academic journey as they take their matriculation oath and commit to the rules and values of the institution. University authorities used the occasion to urge the students to remain disciplined and focused.
The matriculation ceremony is a key tradition in universities, officially recognizing students as members of the academic community. University authorities use the occasion to urge students to remain disciplined, focused, and committed to their studies. They also encourage them to take advantage of opportunities that will prepare them for the job market.
For us as a university, we believe that knowledge abounds, but one of the key things that makes knowledge give value to society is character. And so we are not only giving students knowledge, we are working intentionally to shape their character so they become people of influence as they step out of the university. They have been just enrolled into the community, but within the next few years, they will exit. We want not to graduate students exiting from our university. We want to graduate leaders, people who impact their world, people who shape society, people who have a punch in their space of endeavors and be able to make a difference in Ghana and the world at large.
The university says it remains committed to providing quality education and equipping students with skills relevant to national development. Some students expressed excitement about starting a new chapter in their academic journey.
It's very surreal, actually. I didn't know I would come to Central University, so I'm really excited I'm here. I like the school, their environment, and I like the teachers, the lectures, actually. So I'm very excited.
Central University is one of the best out there in Ghana, and its aspirations are in line with the dreams that I have for myself. So I made a good decision of coming here.
Honestly, I want to better myself in the course I'm doing. I already have a lot of knowledge in IT. I offer bachelor's in information technology. I want to better myself. So with the degree I'm doing, I want to better myself in IT.
You're still watching News 360, and like we indicated, we are bringing you this bulletin this time because right after the bulletin, there will be a build-up to the friendly between the Black Stars of Ghana and the Diamannschaft of Germany. We'll bring you live on TV3, so stay with us. We have business after this break.
I love President Charcoal.
Ghana's reserves had fallen to about 1.5 months of import cover in 2023, according to the World Bank, raising concerns about the country's ability to sustain imports. But recent data suggests a strong recovery in external buffers. Speaking at the Mervyn Pick Accra Business Forum on behalf of the minister, the Deputy Finance Minister said import cover has increased by around 60% compared to last year.
Gross international reserves has risen to $14.5 billion, equivalent to 5.8 months of import cover as of March this year, up from $13.8 billion at the end of December 2025. It is worth noting that by the end of December 2024, the gross international reserves was approximately $8.9 billion, covering 3.9 months of import cover. So in just over a year, Ghana's reserves have surged by over 60%.
Meanwhile, Cabinet has approved the Ghana Accelerated National Reserve Accumulation Policy aimed at strengthening the country's resilience to external shocks. The Finance Minister says efforts are underway to ensure targets under the program are achieved.
The program is to build an economic war chest to protect the economy against future shocks by raising gross international reserves to the equivalent of 8.6 months of import cover by the end of this year and 15 months of import cover by the end of 2028. This is an economy regaining balance. This is an economy back on its feet, rebuilding strength and preparing to run.
The forum brought together policymakers and business leaders to discuss Ghana's economic outlook and investment climate. Organizers say the platform is intended to drive policy dialogue and support long-term economic stability.
Now, Bell Beverages has officially relaunched its flagship malt drink, Bell Malt Original, with a renewed focus on quality and global competitiveness. The event featured a showcase of the newly packaged product redesigned to meet international standards while maintaining its signature taste for the local market. As part of efforts to strengthen brand visibility, the company unveiled Ghanaian actor Kwadwo Nkansa as its new brand ambassador.
Head of Marketing at Bell Beverages, Magnus J, explained that the relaunch is aimed at positioning Belmont beyond the Ghanaian market with the goal of appealing to international consumers and boosting sales. He added that the improved product is well positioned to compete strongly with similar beverages in the industry.
3 years ago, we took a very difficult decision. We took Belmont off the market, not because it was not good, but because we knew that it could be better. And today we have a product that we are thrilled to tell you that is the best in the market. So that is why we are here to do a relaunch of this Belmont Original. The good thing is that in crafting it, we have embedded the beautiful Ghanaian colors in the logo of the design. We want to tell you that we appreciate the everyday Ghanaian who turns up to the office every day to make Belmont. They are the ones who have made Belmont, and we are proud about it.
Meanwhile, Kwadwo Nkansa, also known as Lewin, expressed excitement about his new role, describing it as a major opportunity to connect with consumers. He encouraged Ghanaians to support the brand by purchasing more Belmont, stressing his belief that it has the potential to become one of the leading beverages in the country.
Belmont obusuakuo no ahye me na omatimi so ade me abaka abusua no ho nenne ope product a Ghana nyina agye atum emofra empanifo empo bibiala enom malt na malt no eguma hodo pi ba afi na original malt na gasaba Belmont original original ana meso me original edure na Ghana ya be shase anom efine consider obo ade beto nsa frɛ.
Bell Beverages says the relaunch signals a bold step toward expanding its market reach and reinforcing its brand presence both locally and globally.
And that'll be all for the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Lobodu. We'll bring you updates now from the currency and the commodities market.
Segment is brought to you by Sasso Insecticide Spray and Coil.
Right, so clearly the hour is ticking, in fact the minutes are ticking to the seconds where the Black Stars will be locking horns with the, how do they call them, diamond shaft? Yes. Yeah, the diamond shaft of the German machine, as many will know it. That is going to be at, is it 7 p.m. exactly is kickoff?
6:45 is kickoff, yes.
6:45 is kickoff. Okay, so it means
very
the
random
next
time.
But before you take over the sports, what's your prediction, Portia?
It's in God's hands.
No. God is not a footballer. What is your prediction? You guys say
a win for Ghana.
A win for Ghana. Yeah. I'm also backing the Black Stars. But Oreku, what do you make of the last performance? How could that influence our next game?
Well, I think there isn't many bigger challenges to sort of redeem yourself after the terrible performance on Friday. The first person to admit that the team did very poorly was Otuado, and he mentioned the mentality aspect in the sense that after they conceded 1, 2, 3, it's almost like heads went down and the team stopped playing, and that's one thing that they want to work on. And so we want to see that in this match against Germany. We have rich history with the Germans. The biggest takeaway from friendlies is never about the result. It's about the mentality and the performance on the day, and I think that's what will be very key for the Black Stars.
Right. Anyway, so it will be live on TV3. So if you do not know, call a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend that it will be here, and Oreku will take over the sports now.
Or let's head straight into our first story, where German-born attacker Ransford Konigsdorfer has indicated that he will continue working hard to make the final squad for the 2026 World Cup for the Black Stars. The 24-year-old is at the camp currently after earning a late call-up for the friendly matches against Austria and Germany. The forward came on as a second-half substitute last Friday when Ghana suffered a 5-1 defeat in the first friendly against Austria. Now looking forward to playing some minutes in the second friendly against Germany, Konigsdorfer has disclosed that he is working very hard to convince head coach Otuado to include him in the 2026 World Cup squad.
Of course, it's a special moment for me. My mother is from Germany, my father from Ghana, but in the end, like the coach said, I'm playing for Ghana, I'm proud to play for Ghana, and I will give my best. I'm, of course, a little bit nervous maybe, it's the first time, but I do my best and I hope I get some minutes. Best in the team, I try to show the coach that I'm worth it to play for in the World Cup, but at the end the coach decides. I do my best here and at the club. Tomorrow also, and then we will see. Of course, I want to play there. I think everyone in the squad want to play there, and we will see, and then hopefully everything getting well.
Well, the game between Germany and Ghana is live here on TV3 within the next hour also, and ahead of the crunch friendly match, 3 Sports hit the streets of Germany to engage some fans ahead of the game, and here's what they had to say.
And it's not going to be easy, but 100% Ghana can make it win today.
I'm expecting Ghana to win, but a slim margin win. I'll be very happy if Ghana wins, but then it is what it is. The players are not living up to his expectation.
All right, what we witnessed last Friday, I think Ghanaians are not in a good heart because of what we witnessed, because they think Austria tactics and how they played. Looking at Germany, the strong side right now, I think we still think maybe there will be a defeat, but anything can happen. In football, there's a draw, there's a win, and there's a lose. Anything goes. So I think Ghana still have a position to win something, because Germany hasn't been that big against Ghana when it comes to matches. In every match we do, there's either draw or something, not more marginal goals like 4-1, 5-1 and other stuff. So I think right now maybe Ghana will do some matches.
For a very good game, massive improvement in team building, breakout play and all those things. So I'm hoping, my hopes are high. So the best thing is like a draw. A miracle is a win, but that we are showing solidarity and that we are solid on defense.
Obviously, I hope it's going to be better than the Austria game. I hope it's a draw.
and that would be good for us. Like if we see some new stuff in the team.
I think the result is not the most important thing.
So there you can see the players coming now for the warm-ups ahead of the game, which will be live here on TV3 by way of Team News. Benjamin Asare, that's the man in your shot. He comes in to go for the game against Germany as he replaces Lawrence Atizigi. That is the only change by Otoado ahead of this match. The only change from the 5-1 loss to Austria. And then for the German lineup, we do have a front four of Florian Wirtz of Liverpool, Walter Made of Newcastle, Gnabry of Bayern Munich, and then Kai Havertz of Arsenal. In midfield, there's Stifler and Pascal Gross. Joshua Kimmich captains the side alongside Jonathan Tah. Stoltenberg, Brown, and Nubel gets his chance in goal. Well, you can get this match live here on TV3. Our build-up starts in the next 10 minutes, and so you do want to join us as we show you the match between Germany and Ghana. My name is Oreku Ampofo.
Is brought to you by GTP Lifestyled
and Napa Foods. Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil.
Powered by 3 Entertainment.
Good evening and welcome to the entertainment news segment here on News360. My name is Noella Donko. Now, the executive director of the National Theatre, Henry Herbert Malm, says the institution remains committed to harnessing the power of the creative arts to promote Ghanaian culture and inspire a new generation of poets for national development. He made these remarks in an interview with 3 Entertainment's Naphtali Bar at a special event to mark World Poetry Day, where young people took center stage with bold expressions and powerful poetry.
The event was aimed at promoting public speaking and creative expression among young people as part of activities marking World Poetry Day 2026. The 2-day program brought together students from the Ayawaso North Educational Jurisdiction. It began with an interactive workshop where participants were taken through key literary devices in poetry and guided to craft their own pieces. The highlight of the event saw these young talents take to the stage, confidently performing their original poems before an audience.
So I'm pleading that you stay away from laziness and you will be safe. Also, in all things, avoid laziness and success will crown your efforts.
Described as the citadel of entertainment, the National Theatre of Ghana, under the leadership of its executive director, Henry Herbert Malm, says the institution remains committed to harnessing the power of creative arts to promote Ghanaian culture and inspire a new generation of poets for national development.
The power of poetry being used as a conduit for expression of social thoughts and then for social change for that matter. And we're just here to collaborate with them as a way of celebrating World Poetry Day. It actually helps with the fulfillment of our mandate, which is about how we can use the performing arts to spread our culture. And we're using it as an opportunity to ignite the passion for poetry in our young ones so that they are also able to express themselves using poetry.
The Municipal Education Director believes such initiatives play a crucial role in nurturing the creative potential of young people and encouraging self-expression.
Talent have to be nurtured. So if we don't nurture them now, when they grow up, they will not be able to give out the talent that we are looking at for. Bringing this at the basic level, we are going to nurture talents. They have the inborn talent, we can take them far. So to me, this very aspect of the subject have to be encouraged so that we can nurture talents who will be on top of the world.
Well, that's it for the entertainment news segment here on News360. My name is Noella Donko.
Thank you so much, Noella. On the international front, U.S. President Donald Trump has threatened to obliterate Iran's power plants and oil wells if a deal is not reached shortly. Trump said that the U.S. is in serious discussions with a new and more reasonable regime in Iran, but warns if a ceasefire is not agreed, the U.S. will hit sites it has purposefully not yet touched.
Well, we'll wait to see what that threat will mean going forward. And that's it for News360. My name is Martin Asiedu-Date.
And I am Portia Gabo. Enjoy the build-up to the match and the match itself. Good evening.
Victory for the...